My name's Brian, and I have been living for the past 9 months in Germany, specifically in a little city called Kaiserslautern. And in all that time, things have been quiet. No new discoveries, no major catastrophes, no celebrity visits, not even a wild animal escaping from the zoo. Just peaceful life in a calm city. But then something changed, and that something led to this. To understand how I, someone who never watches sports, ended up leading the Kaiserslautern soccer team battle cry to a bunch of Germans, we have to go back a bit. Okay, that's too far back. When I first arrived in Kaiserslautern, I was told all about the soccer team, FCK, in German FCK, and how they used to be one of the best. And where do the best belong? In the first league. But about 10 years ago, they lost their spot and dropped down to the second league, and then to the third, where they've been for the last 4 years. In February of this year, my German flatmate asked if I wanted to go see a game in person. I said yes, and we ended up winning 3-0. Then we left, and I moved on, and soccer left my mind. But in the background, something was brewing, because the win I witnessed was just one of many. And eventually I caught wind that they had moved up to third place. And that means they qualified to play 2 games against Dresden, the third to last place team of the second league. And if they won, FCK would take Dresden's spot in the second league and begin again after years in darkness their rise to glory. So everyone was obviously super excited about that. The first of the 2 games was a home game, so I ended up going with my German flatmate. And we left pretty disappointed because nobody scored any points. But that meant that it all came down to the last game in Dresden. And because we didn't want to take a 7-hour drive, we watched it from a sports bar. And there I learned what a meter of beer looks like. So we sat and watched the game for a while, and not much happened until Kaiserslautern scored. But there was still a lot of time left, so we were sitting on the edge of our seats and crossing our fingers that the other team wouldn't score. Until they scored again with only a couple minutes left, securing our spot in the second league. Now that was pretty cool, and I thought after like a half hour of celebration, we'd start heading out, I'd walk back home, and then go to bed. At least that's what I wanted to do. I soon realized that the Germans I was with had no intention of going home anytime soon. And neither did anyone else in the city. The next day at the school I work at, bright and early in the morning, they played this over the loudspeaker. The FCK anthem, and they continued to play it about every hour for the rest of the day. Now, teachers were really split on this. Some teachers came in decked out in the full FCK merch, running on 1 hour of sleep, and other teachers were really annoyed that they had to listen to the FCK anthem for the rest of the day. Me, on the other hand, I was starting to feel the spirit, and I kind of wished that I had an FCK jersey that I could wear. So I went to the computer, printed out a piece of paper, and taped this to my chest. And as the day went on, the students started getting so crazy that the teachers eventually let them outside to release some energy. And that's where I come in. But it didn't even end there. That afternoon, the city of Kaiserslautern put on a huge festival for all the people to celebrate. And they actually played some really good music. So that's how living in Germany turned me into a soccer fan. And yeah, I'm not their #1 fan, but it's a big change for someone who never watches sports. And that's the thing about living abroad. You have to embrace the culture. When you join a community, you live with them, you grieve with them, and you celebrate with them. And I'm really grateful that I could have that opportunity here in Kaiserslautern. And I know wherever I'll be in the world next, I'll always be rooting for FC K.